Welcome to Algebra Module 1, Lesson 1, using letters to represent unknown numbers. You don't need a calculator for this class. Now, this is a brand new topic, and you may have heard that algebra is very difficult. It is, however, a very common misconception. Algebra can actually be quite fun once you get to know it. These are the objectives of this lesson. Number 1, use letters to represent unknown numbers. Number 2, learn simple algebraic expressions. Now in algebra, we simply use any letter in the alphabet to represent an unknown number. For example, we can say that a girl called Henny. Henny is P years old. So how do we write that as an expression? Henny is P years old, so we simply write it as Henny equals to P. Now, if Henny is P years old this year, what about last year? How do you write that as an expression? Last year, Henny was what? P minus 1. So this year she is P years old. Last year she is P minus 1 years old. What about in 2 years' time? In 2 years' time, that means two years ahead, right? 2 years ahead of time, Henny will be what? P plus 2. In 2 years' time, she'll be P plus 2 years old. Now, let's assume that Henny has a brother, and Henny's brother is half of Henny's age. Henny's brother is half of her age. That means he is what? P divided by 2. That's how old he is. P over 2, right? Now, one more, last one. Henny's mother. Henny's mother is 5 times as old as Henny. So she is what? 5 times P. Henny is P years old. Henny's mother is 5 times as old as Henny, so she is 5 times P years old. So we can also write that as 5P. Easy, right? One thing to take note of is the way we write the letters in algebra to make sure that we don't get confused. I've shown that in the notes. So look at the notes. There are a list of letters and how to write them. One thing to note is the letter O is seldom used in algebra because people get confused between O and 0. So look at the notes, look at the way we have taught you how to write the letters in algebra. Okay, let's look at question 1. Write an algebraic expression for the following. Asmira has 3 dolls. Lena has n times as many dolls as Asmira. Diane has 5 fewer dolls than Lena. How many dolls does Diane have? So we've got 3 girls here. Okay, let's write down the information that we know. Asmira has 3 dolls. So let's write that down first before moving on to step 1. Asmira has 3 dolls. Lena has n times as many dolls. So that is step 1. Let's find out how many dolls Lena has as an expression. We have to write this as an expression. Lena has n times as many dolls as Asmira. So it is 3 times n. So this is n times as many dolls as what Asmira has. And Asmira has 3. So that is equals to 3n. The second step is to find out how many dolls Diane has. She's the third girl. So step 2. Diane has 5 fewer dolls than Lena. So what does Lena have? Lena's numbers are what? Lena's numbers are 3n. Okay, so if Diane has 5 lesser, so it's 3n minus 5 lesser, which means minus 5. Therefore, Diane has 3n minus 5 dolls, and that is your final answer. Question number 2. Write an algebraic expression for the following. Ahmed had $40. He bought K water bottles that cost $9 each. How much money had he left? So first step is to find out how much Ahmed spent on the water bottles. K represents the number of water bottles he bought. $9 is the cost of each bottle. So step 1, $9, which is the cost of each bottle, multiplied by the number of water bottles bought, which is K. So you get that equals to 9 with a dollar sign up front, 9K. Second step is to find out how much money Ahmed had left. He had $40 in the beginning. So let's write that down, $40. minus what he had spent, which is what? 9K, right? He had spent 9K with a dollar sign. And that's what he spent. And if you look at it, you can't simplify that any further. So that becomes your final answer. So Ahmed had this expression left, which is $40 minus 9K. But let's write that down into a bracket as well. Bring out, because you realize that there's a common factor there. Both of them have a dollar sign in front. So bring out the dollar sign, put a bracket, 40 minus 9K. Left. This is the balance he has, and that's the final answer. Question 3. Write an algebraic expression for the following. Lisa bought 5 mugs for X dollars. Find the cost of 8 such mugs in terms of X. First step. Let's find out how much each mug costs. Step 1. If 5 mugs cost X dollars, each mug will cost X dollars divided by 5. Okay, and you write that down as what? What's the final answer? X over 5. X over 5, you can put the dollar sign out there because it is still expressed in dollars. The second step is to find out how much 8 such mugs cost. So step 2, if 1 mug costs X over 5, 8 mugs is X over 5 multiplied by 8. And you get what? You get 8X over 5. Still put the dollar sign over there because it is expressed as dollars. Okay, so the cost of 8 such mugs is 8x over $5. That's your final answer. Last question of this lesson. Write an algebraic expression for the following. 6 pens and 1 sketchbook cost $10 at a bookstore. If the sketchbook costs $2 find the cost of each pen. Step number 1. The first step is to find out how much the 6 pens cost. So step 1 is $10. That is the cost of 6 pens plus 1 sketchbook. You minus off the cost of the sketchbook, which is what? 2H. Right? 2H equals to, bring the dollar sign outside, 10 minus 2H. There's nothing else you can do. You can't simplify that any further. Right? Second step is to find out how much each pen cost. In step 1, you found the cost of all the 6 pens. In step 2, you take the same number, which is 10 minus 2H, the same answer from step 1, 10 minus 2H, and you divide it by 6. You divide it by 6, and you get 10 minus 2H over 6. So this is the cost of each pen, and that becomes your final answer. Algebra lesson 1 completed. I am extremely positive that you found it a lot easier than what was expected. I need you to go and try the quiz right now. Also, remember to look at the notes and go ace the quiz. Go score.